Hidden in the rolling countryside of Somerset, England stands a castle steeped in history, power, and dark secrets. Welcome to Farleigh Hungerford Castle, a medieval stronghold that has witnessed tales of ambition, treachery, murder, and even ghosts. Stay with us as we uncover the mysteries of this historic site. The west gate that we just came through served as a secondary entrance to the outer court to the castle. Inside and to the left of the gate passage, there survives part of a spiral staircase leading to its upper floor. Farleigh Hungerford Castle was built in the late 14th century by Sir Thomas Hungerford, a powerful English noble and steward to John of Gaunt, the Duke of Lancaster. Unlike traditional castles designed for military defense, this was more of a fortified luxury residence. Sir Thomas wanted a symbol of status and power, and what better way than a grand medieval castle? The castle was originally built around a central courtyard, later referred to as the inner court, which was enclosed by a curtain wall. At each of the four corners stood a circular tower with a gatehouse positioned at the front. Among these towers, the northeast tower was notably larger, possibly serving as an extra defensive stronghold. The Hungerford family expanded the castle in the 15th century, adding towers, a chapel, and a moat. They played crucial roles in English history, particularly during the Wars of the Roses, siding with the Lancastrians against the Yorkists. But as with many noble families, their fortunes were about to take a dark turn. Over time, the towers were given distinct names. The northwest tower became known as Hazelwell Tower. The northeast tower was called Redcap Tower, and the southwest tower was named the Lady Tower. The castle's natural defenses were enhanced by the steep terrain on most sides. Walter Hungerford passed Farleigh Hungerford Castle to his son, Robert Hungerford. The castle was lavishly decorated with expensive tapestries, silk bedclothes, furs, and silverware. Robert's son, Lord Moline, was captured by the French at the Battle of Castillon in 1453, and the enormous ransom of over £10,000 severely weakened the family's finances. After his release, he in England was embroiled in the Wars of the Roses. As a Lancastrian, Molines fought against the Yorkists but was eventually exiled, attainted, and lost the castle to the crown. He was captured and executed in 1464, and his son, Thomas, suffered the same fate in 1469. In 1462, Yorkist King Edward IV granted Farleigh Hungerford Castle to his brother Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Their brother George Plantagenet may have lived there, and his daughter Margaret was born at the castle. When Richard became king he transferred ownership to John Howard, Duke of Norfolk. Meanwhile, Sir Walter Hungerford, the youngest son of Robert Hungerford, initially supported Edward IV, but later joined a failed revolt against Richard III, leading to his imprisonment in the Tower of London. In 1485, Walter escaped and joined Henry Tudor's Lancastrian army, fighting at the Battle of Bosworth. After Henry VII's victory, he restored the castle to Walter in 1486. Sir Walter Hungerford died in 1516, passing Farleigh Hungerford Castle to his son, Sir Edward. Edward, a successful courtier under Henry VIII, died in 1522, leaving the castle to his second wife, Agnes Hungerford. After his death, it was revealed that Agnes had orchestrated the murder of her first husband, John Cotell. Two of her servants strangled Cotell at the castle and burned his body in the oven to eliminate evidence. Her motive was likely financial gain from her marriage to Edward. Agnes and her accomplices were convicted and hanged for murder in London. After Agnes Hungerford's execution, her stepson Walter inherited Farleigh Hungerford Castle. He became a political ally of Thomas Cromwell, acting on his behalf in the region. However, Walter later imprisoned his third wife, Elizabeth, in one of the castle towers after her father became a political liability. She claimed she was starved and subjected to multiple poisoning attempts. Likely held in the northwest tower, she later gave her name to the southwest Lady Tower. When Cromwell fell from power in 1540, Walter was accused of treason, witchcraft and homosexuality, and was subsequently executed. Elizabeth was freed and allowed to remarry, while the castle was seized by the crown. Walter Hungerford's son, also named Walter, repurchased Farleigh Hungerford Castle from the crown in 1554 for £5,000. The castle remained in good condition, with antiquarian John Leland praising its beauty, but Walter modernized it by adding Elizabethan-style windows and improving the east range of the inner court for the family's main residence. His second wife, Jane, was a Roman Catholic, and their marriage collapsed amid the religious turmoil of the Tudor period, leading her to go into exile. Their only son died young, and after Walter's death in 1596, the castle passed to his brother, Sir Edward. Sir Edward Hungerford died in 1607, passing Farleigh Hungerford Castle to his great-nephew, also named Sir Edward Hungerford. The new Edward continued improving the castle, adding new windows to the medieval buildings in the inner court. As the centuries passed, the castle saw a gradual decline. By the time of the English Civil War in the 17th century, the Hungerford family had lost much of their influence. The castle was confiscated, briefly returned, and eventually fell into ruin. What was once a symbol of power became a relic of the past. The priest's house at Farleigh Hungerford Castle is one of the best preserved buildings on the site. Built in the early century, it originally served as a residence for the priests who conducted services in the castle's chapel of St. Leonard. Unlike much of the castle, which has fallen into ruin, the priest's house remains largely intact. The building retains much of its original medieval structure, including stone walls, timber beams, and a steeply pitched roof. The interior now serves as a museum, displaying furniture, household items, and historical exhibits related to the Hungerford family and castle life. The castle dungeons are another chilling reminder of its dark past. Prisoners were kept in horrific conditions, and it's said that the spirits of those who perished here still linger in the ruins. Beyond the ghost stories, Farleigh Hungerford Castle holds some fascinating historical treasures. The Chapel of St. Leonard contains rare medieval wall paintings that have survived for centuries. These paintings depict biblical scenes and warnings of the afterlife, giving us a glimpse into the beliefs of medieval society. The chapel also houses elaborate tombs of the Hungerford family, beautifully crafted with knightly effigies. Speaking of spirits, Farleigh Hungerford Castle is said to be one of the most haunted castles in England. Visitors and paranormal investigators have reported ghostly apparitions, cold spots, and unexplained whispers. Some say the restless lady Agnes Hungerford roams the ruins, seeking redemption for her crimes. Others have heard the sounds of clanking armor and ghostly voices in the chapel. Could the spirits of medieval knights still be standing guard? Today, Farleigh Hungerford Castle is managed by English Heritage and is open to the public. Visitors can explore its ruins, chapel, dungeons, and even hear chilling ghost stories from guides. If you're a fan of history, legends, or the paranormal, this is a place you won't want to miss. So, what do you think? Would you dare to visit Farleigh Hungerford Castle at night? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more historical mysteries and haunted tales. See you next time!